Today, we're jumping into a quiz where every single answer could be the difference between life and death. Seriously, fall protection isn't just some boring chapter in a safety manual. It's the set of rules that make sure you get home in one piece. So let's see if you've really got this stuff down. So why are we coming in so hot on this topic? Well, check this out. According to OSHA, falls were responsible for a whopping 37% of all deaths in construction back in 2021. That's not just some statistic, That's hundreds of people, hundreds of families affected by accidents that could have been prevented. So here's our challenge to you. We've got 10 questions lined up, all based on real-world job site situations. Your mission is to make the right call every time. Think of it as practice for your OSHA exam, or even better, practice for the real world. You ready to see if you can protect yourself and your crew? Let's do this. Okay, question number 1. Picture this. You're in a warehouse, up on a mezzanine. You're 5 feet off the concrete floor. It doesn't feel that high, does it? But the rules are black and white. When do you need fall protection? Go ahead, think about it. Lock in your answer. If you said D, at 4 feet or more, you are absolutely correct. Now this one is huge, folks, because it trips people up all the time. A warehouse falls under general industry, where the rule is 4 feet. That 6-foot rule that everyone knows, that's specifically for construction. Knowing the difference is critical. It's one of the first things an inspector or a hiring manager will quiz you on. All right, for question 2, let's head outside. You're a roofer working on a typical 2-story house. The edge you're working near is about 7 feet off the ground. What do you need to stay safe and compliant? Is just having a guy watch from the ground good enough? What's the right call here? And the correct answer is C, a personal fall arrest system. This is a classic construction job, which means we're using that 6-foot rule we just talked about. Since you're at 7 feet, you are over the limit and you absolutely need protection. Just staying back or having a spotter doesn't cut it. You need a real system, like a guardrail, a net, or your personal harness and lanyard. Question 3 takes us up in the air. You're on a standard supported scaffold, the kind you see everywhere. The platform you're standing on is 12 feet up. So, do the rules change when you're on a scaffold? What's the absolute minimum you need to have?
The answer is A. And yeah, scaffolds have their own special rule. The magic number here isn't 4 feet or 6 feet, it's 10 feet. Once you're 10 feet or higher on a supported scaffold, you need fall protection. And OSHA gives you a choice. You can use either a full guardrail system or a personal fall arrest system. You don't need both.
All right, next up, we've got an electrician in a boom lift reaching up to fix a light. Now the basket already has guardrails all around it, so is that enough? What specific piece of gear is an absolute must-have in this situation? The answer here is B, and listen up. This one is 100% non-negotiable. Anytime you are in a boom-type aerial lift, you must be tied off, period. That means a full-body harness and a lanyard connected to the proper anchor point. And just a quick note, body belts have been banned for fall arrest for decades. They can cause massive internal injuries, so if you see one, it's a museum piece, not safety gear. Question 5. This is about one of the most common things you'll ever do on a job site. Use an extension ladder to get up onto a roof. So to do it by the book and stay safe, how far past that roof edge does the ladder need to stick up? The answer is C, at least 3 feet. This is one of those fundamental rules you just have to know. And it's not some random number OSHA picked. That 3-foot extension is there to give you something stable to hold on to as you're stepping on or off the ladder. It's all about making that transition from the ladder to the roof as steady and safe as possible. Okay, back up on the roof for question 6. This time the hazard is a little different. You've got an unprotected skylight right in the middle of your work area. Now, what's the proper way to make sure nobody falls through that thing? The only correct answer is B. You have to think the way OSHA thinks. A skylight is a hole in the floor. That's it. And you can't just put up a warning line or paint it a bright color. You need to eliminate the hazard with a physical barrier. That means a sturdy cover that's secured down or a full guardrail built around it.
Question 7. We're raising the stakes now. You're on a 2-point suspended scaffold, like the kind window washers use, and you're 40 feet up. This is a much riskier setup than a standard scaffold on the ground. So, does the rule change? What do you need?
And the answer is B. We call this the and rule. Remember how on a supported scaffold you had a choice? Not here. Because suspended scaffolds are so much riskier, OSHA requires redundant or backup protection. You must have the guardrail system on the scaffold itself, and every single worker needs to be in their own personal fall arrest system, tied off to a completely separate anchor point on the building. It's a 2-layer safety system. Okay, this next one is where they try to trip you up on the exams. You're on a low slope roof, and this is key, you're under general industry rules, not construction. The edge is 20 feet away and your work is temporary. What does OSHA require here? The correct answer is actually C. I know, it feels wrong, right? But this is a perfect example of why you have to know the specific details. Under the general industry standard, the rules for low slope roofs are based on your distance from the edge. Because you are more than 15 feet away and the work is both infrequent and temporary, fall protection is not required. But if you change any of those details, if the work is permanent or you move closer to the edge, the rule changes immediately. Okay, for question 9, let's change our focus. Fall protection isn't just about protecting yourself from falling, it's about protecting the people below you from falling objects. So you've got a crew working underneath the scaffold. What is the primary thing required on the scaffold itself to keep them safe? The answer is B. Now, hard hats are absolutely essential, and tool tethers are a fantastic idea. But OSHA requires an engineering control, something built in to prevent the accident from happening. That's the toe board. It's the first line of defense, a physical barrier that stops a wrench or a bolt from getting kicked off the edge in the first place. All right, here we go, the final question. Time to do some math. This is a real-world fall clearance calculation. Your anchor point is 18 feet up. You're using a standard 6-foot shock-absorbing lanyard. And below you, there's a piece of machinery that's 4 feet tall. Do you have enough room to fall without hitting that machine? Let's figure it out. The answer is A. Yes, in this case, you are safe. Let's do the math real quick. First, find your available space. That's anchor height minus the obstruction. 18 minus 4 gives you 14 feet. Now, let's figure out how much space you need. You have your 6-foot lanyard, plus about 3.5 feet for the shock absorber to deploy, another foot for the harness stretching, and a 2-foot safety factor. Add that all up, and you need 12.5 feet. Since the 14 feet you have is more than the 12.5 you need, you're good to go. And that's all 10. So, how did you do? Go ahead, tally up your correct answers and be honest. Drop your score in the comments below. We'd love to see how you did. Were there any questions that caught you by surprise? You know, doing well on this quiz is awesome, but it's more than just bragging rights. This is the exact kind of knowledge that gets you through your OSHA 10 and 30 exams. And trust me, if you can walk into a job interview and clearly explain the difference between the 4-foot, 6-foot, and 10-foot rules, you're gonna impress some people. But at the end of the day, the only score that really matters is making sure you and your crew stay safe every single shift. If you want to learn more about workplace safety and OSHA rules, subscribe to HSE Study.